enchiladas.
Oh, you gonna be all right?
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with our first ever Friday the 13th final girl or guy, Pam Roberts herself. Melanie Kinnaman. It was so cool to hear about her journey from Western Mass, working on Broadway, off-Broadway, dancing, commercials, and the fact that she was on Saturday Night Live. She did a sketch that was like the Battle of the Network Stars. She played Cheryl Ladd, and then she goes on her journey to Hollywood, lands Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, the sequel that we're going to be covering, because at the time of this recording, my son is not born yet, but by the time you're listening, he's going to be born. So that's our new beginning. Well, not this Jamie, my wife Jamie. And yeah, so it's pretty exciting. And I'm excited to talk about this movie because this is like I would say this and Jason Goes to Hell are the most controversial of the franchise because those are like the lightning rod ones. But yeah, I'm not going to say anymore. I have to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you doing?
Good. You watched the right movie, right? Because me and Jamie started recording last night, and he watched the intro. You guys might be watching or listening, and he listened. He goes, "Wait, is that in this movie?"
I wasn't sure we were going to really talk about that. That happened in the past. We're talking about the present right now, so I don't think that was really necessary. But I got to tell you, I think we have a new front runner for the worst Friday the 13th.
Really?
Yeah. First of all, I'm not even sure this is a Friday the 13th. I mean, that's first of all. But yeah, I thought Jason Goes to Hell was pretty bad because there's not really Jason in that movie. But as little Jason there is in that movie, it's way more Jason than it is in this movie.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that part of it. I'm going to be the complete opposite. I'm not saying this is the best of the franchise, but I'm telling you for years, and I think I said this on another Friday the 13th we talked about, as a kid, I didn't like this one or the space one, and that was still fun to watch the space one. But with this one, I think I was like, I don't know, like highbrow, like I was looking down upon this movie because of obviously the hook at the end, but I don't know. I like the characters in it. And I think there's actually like funny acting. Like, I'm not saying the other movies don't, like we've covered 4, 8, Hell, and X, and not saying those movies don't have good actors in it, but this one, it seems like there's like actors in it.
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to say yes and no. So part of the problem when I don't like about this movie is when you know the hook and you watch this movie again.
Yeah.
It's so obvious, the hook from the beginning, and so many signs throughout that it just makes it worse. Like it just like really like how do people not notice that? But I will tell you, I wish there was a prequel that involved the mother and the son, the hillbillies, because I could watch a movie about them. Yeah, like I feel like if there was a movie just about their life, I'm in. Because they were funny. Like they were the best part of the whole movie.
Like, where's the husband? Where did he run off to?
Where do they get money for anything? Like they obviously he's driving around the thing. I mean, we're not even there yet, but like they live in such a crap hole place. They wear the same, but they're funny. Like the characters where I wish I knew more about them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They reminded me in this movie, and like when I talked to Melanie, and I think she like really enjoyed that I mentioned this, and I think you mentioned it before too. That's what's great about the Friday the 13th franchise versus the other ones, because you get like dropped in this world, you meet these new people, like the diner scene, which we'll get to later. We saw the guy that worked at the mental hospital for like a minute in the beginning, but then we get this like vignette, this little story of them two, and then you're like, this is like fun. Like there's like these little parts of this movie and you're like, all right, cool. And then you leave and you go to another people.
I agree. But the fact that we're calling it a Friday the 13th, like if they just took away that title and called it something else, then it's a whole different movie. Like it really is like, because you have all these characters and you have these murders and you have like, but the fact that you're calling it Friday the 13th, I think takes away from what the movie is, And I have to say, we talk about the 80s rule. This breaks the 80s rule so many times. So unnecessary.
What you mean it fulfills the 80s rule?
I'm sorry, yes.
Not
fulfills fulfills the 80s rule so many times with this. Like, now I watch this movie with my daughter, right? Because she likes to listen to podcasts. And she just like every 5 seconds, she's like, really, Dad? Like, almost really? Like, and like, it's so obvious that they're so unnecessary, and it's so unobvious that it's actually funny. Just, we'll get there.
No, we will. And it's funny, the way they got all of that nudity in this movie was they basically traded one of the kills we'll get to later. And it was so gross to the censors. They're like, all right, we'll take that out, but we can get more boobs in. And they agreed. The censors agreed. And that's why this one, I think, goes down as the most blood and boob filled ones, because there's a lot of blood in this one. There's a couple kills that weren't actually put into the movie that we'll talk about. But no, I think that's what I love about it. It's such a lightning rod movie. Like when I talked to Melanie, the fact that she went to Comic Cons for the first time or conventions in like the 90s, and people were like so rude to her. And it's like, she's just an actress in the movie. But there is something to it. If you see it blind for the first time, I would love, because I feel like somebody spoiled it for me when I was a kid. But if I wish I could go back, Men in Black it. I don't remember it. I rewatch it. I don't know if I would catch up on it. Maybe I'd be like, oh, that guy's a little off. But
yeah, but okay. If let's just say this movie came out without ever seeing a Friday the 13th movie, I think people would enjoy it. And but knowing that it's a Friday the 13th movie, knowing Jason, how Jason does things, how Jason looks, and then watching this, it takes away from the movie. I mean, like literally when you see for the most part, you just see the guy's arms the entire movie.
Yeah. And
it looks nothing like Jason's arms, just the arms alone. And even at a point, there's a point, I mean, spoiler alert, but there's a point where my daughter goes to me because she doesn't remember the end. So she goes, Jason looks a little skinny. Like, yeah, it looked nothing, even standing there, he looked nothing like Jason. So it was just like, if it was like a murder at, whatever, fine, like summer camp murders. Then it's a different movie. Just calling it a Friday the 13th kind of ruins it. And I think that's what makes it the worst movie of all the franchise. Listen, you're talking about coming after 4, which is the best one. Then you have this one. And then you have, is Jason Lives after this?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the 2 best ones surrounding the worst one. Like, it's almost like they knew.
Well, maybe they had to try something different. They did like the Halloween 3 to try something different. But I promise we'll get in the movie soon. But the thing that I love about this movie was it's kind of like its own standalone thing. They wanted to do something totally different with it. Like if you watch the Crystal Lake Memories, Corey Feldman jokes in it. He goes, well, if it wasn't for that goddamn Steven Spielberg, we would have done the Tommy Jarvis. So he was supposed to be Tommy Jarvis, like at that next stage. So there wasn't supposed to be, because this is the first time jump of the franchise. Because really from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, they're like so smushed together. Like 3 to 4 is like the next day. And I don't know how it's a Friday the 13th, but it's like 2 days later. And then you get this one that's like, I don't know, the actor does not look 17 or 18. They claim he is.
Well, none of them do. First of all, I mean, they all look older. But you know what? That's a better movie. If Feldman was in the movie, he played a great Tommy. I think he would have done well. I did not like this Tommy. I in fact, I thought he was annoying. So I think he almost reminded me of Maniac Cop guy. What's the annoying character? Brian Ryan.
Yeah, Brian Ryan.
He kind of looked like Brian Ryan.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so like I wasn't a fan of his character. I mean,
I guess it was so hard for him to play it because they wanted him to play almost like he says like 27 words in the whole movie.
His first word in about a half hour is what, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this. So then we open up, like I just mentioned, Feldman was supposed to be in the entire movie. So they were able to get him to be in the movie. They actually filmed that opening scene in his neighbor's backyard. So that opening scene, when you see him, but everything else, that's a female actress that was short in a raincoat. So all the behind shots are of a female actress because they filmed on a different location for those other shots. As if you notice, he's really just peering from behind a bush or coming from behind a tree, but they filmed that all in the neighbor's backyard in no time.
Now, okay, so did that really happen? Like, did Tommy really see that, or was that a dream?
That's a good question.
Because they made it look like it was really happening, but then they made it look like a dream, but he got slashed, so I wasn't sure. Like, I mean, I wasn't sure if it was because he was dreaming like the whole time of Jason. So it was just very confusing if it was real or not.
Yeah, well, I guess in the lore, again, remember in this movie that they were kind of really ending Jason because they said he was cremated. One of the sheriffs says that he was cremated. So obviously Jason's lives wouldn't happen. And in this movie, he wouldn't be buried in the ground. So I would guess that it was him having more visions. And maybe that's why his parents sent him to like the mental hospital. But you know what pissed me off so much? So you kind of mentioned to it. So we saw the two guys digging up the grave and then they get slashed. Well, I love that Jason sleeps with his machete. Like in the grave, he's ready to go. It's not like he had to reach for it. It was in his hand.
It was like he was napping. He was basically napping because as soon as they he just needed air. Because the minute they open, now you see this a lot in movies. People digging bodies. Is that something people do in real life? Like,
oh my god!
You think there's people that just go out there to like a graveyard and like dig up a body?
Some goth kid that wants to read to like worship. They bring a black cat and they do a little seance. Maybe.
Like I wonder if there's really people that do that because it's like you always see it in the movies.
Yeah. Kids are just like, hey, what do you want to do Saturday night? I don't know. I was going to go out with Tina. Dude, you want to grab some shovels? Okay. Like, who would want to do that? Like, look at 6. Look at the opening of 6, which is kind of similar to this, the weather-wise and the whole thing. Like, Horseshack just goes with Tommy.
But I think that the difference with 6 is they're going there to make sure he's dead. Where these guys, I don't know what their reasoning is just to see his body. Like, they just wanted to see him. Is that?
Yeah, I guess they were like, oh yeah, he really is in there. And then that's how I think we know that it's a dream because they mentioned that he was cremated in this movie, which again, why would the sheriff can make that up?
But if he was cremated, then are they basically skipping 5?
Sort of. They really don't mention, like when Tommy in the 6th one never mentions like, right? He never talks about what happened at the mental hospital.
No,
right?
no. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I almost feel like...
He escapes from the mental hospital with Horseshack, but he never mentions, like, living in that halfway house or anything.
Which I can't wait to talk about the halfway house, because there's so many problems with that place.
Yeah, I don't know what that place is.
But, okay, but I think the cop says he was supposed to be cremated, but did you see him get cremated?
Well, that's what the mayor says to him.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
So maybe he wasn't, I guess, but, like... I just wonder if 6 is totally skipping 5, which I don't blame them because 5 was horrible. So,
I'm gonna have you come around to this. So then we get Tommy's getting brought. He wakes up from his dream, and it's cool seeing former guest Fern Champion as the casting. And then right after that, we see director Danny Steinman, who did like this movie called Savage Streets, like right before this, which is kind of like sexploitation. And then in the 70s, he did a lot of porno movies. If that makes sense, right? That this movie that he would do that, because when they filmed that scene in the woods later in the movie, he filmed that like it was a porno scene.
This scene, like this movie again throws everything so unnecessary.
Yeah,
and it's like again there's a scene literally when the girl's topless in bed, she literally pulls the blanket just underneath her boob, just so the boobs can still stay out. Like it just like, the things that the robe just happened to fall, or just in the beginning, right? At the gas station. No, was it the waitress? When she's in the mirror, she flashes the mirror. There's no one around.
Showtime.
Yeah, like no reason to do that. And it just
girls don't do that? I always thought when girls go to the bathroom together, that's what they do.
You think when girls are alone in the bathroom, that's why they take so long?
They go, it's showtime. Yeah, because they have to pull it down, then they have to rebutton it.
Do you think guys are doing that?
What would they say? I guess would they say it's showtime?
Why can't they say showtime also?
Are they pulling their top down, or are they doing the elephant, the elephant trunk? No, swinging it. So then the halfway house, we see Pam Roberts, last week's guest, Melanie Kinnaman. She goes to grab Tommy from the ambulance, and dude, how about the guy that we see later in the movie in the diner scene? How much of a dick he is to this guy that I don't know if I'd mean like that to a mental patient that's just getting out.
First of all, this movie has so many different, I guess, 80s movie personality tropes. Like they have you have the badass, you have the nerd, you have the fat kid, you have the punk girl. You have every single one that's in this movie. And you're right. Like, who would mess with, like, there's a lot of messing with the crazy people.
Yeah.
And this is a place that's filled with crazy people that are basically allowed to do whatever they want.
Whatever. No rules. Like, it's not like, hey, let's hide the knives or maybe the axes.
Okay.
No, we'll just let him have it.
Tommy walks in with a knife. They don't check. Like, now, Tommy is technically a murderer, right? He murdered Jason. He murdered a killer.
Yeah, he murdered. Yeah.
Okay, so he's a murderer. I mean,
does that count? If you murder a killer, are you still a murderer? I think that cancels each other out.
So you think there's rules? So if I kill 15 murderers, I'm not a killer.
Clean slate.
Clean slate. Okay, so it's like it balances it out.
Dirty Harry on his record, zero murders.
Well, he's a cop though. He's allowed.
Oh, he's allowed.
So I'm just saying, like, the regular person. You're saying if they kill a bad person, it doesn't matter. It's okay.
I think so. If it's Jason, I don't think that's on his permanent record. He didn't go to jail.
Well, there's a few reasons. I mean, a few things that happened in this movie that multiple should have been jailed. I mean, like, but regardless, he's obviously a violent. Like, he comes with violent tendencies. He was violent younger. Now, this is like what, a 10-year difference, maybe.
I think they say 7 years.
Okay, 7. So I'm sure it's not the first. Like, I'm sure he's had multiple cases of outbursts.
Yeah.
How do they not check him for weapons?
Oh, why wouldn't they? And he puts it under his bed like it's a porno mag. He slips it right under there.
Yeah, I mean, it just so yeah.
Dude, and how about the mental? I guess he's just like he's not an ambulance driver. He's just whatever that creep guy's name is. When Pam Roberts walks away and he's like, "Yeah, baby," and he does.
The guy with the mustache, or no? Like, yeah, I know.
And he does the tongue at her like when she's walking away.
There's so many creepers in this movie. I mean, the movie's filled with creepers. They really are. They're ridiculous.
And then I love how Pam does not help Tommy. So she's like showing him inside and like, here's the doctor. I love the doctor's office is like really tiny. It has like those kitchen swing doors.
He had a sign in his room. Help destroy the family tradition. that was a poster behind him. It says, help destroy the family tradition. Like, you're bringing people that need help. And that's that's the welcome sign that you want to. That was a little weird, first of all. And then I like how he's like, he's first of all, he's looking at the files like he's never seen them before.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that he would already know that. But he goes to her, he goes, can you show Tommy where to go? And she yells, oh yeah, Tommy, go straight, make a left and go. Like,
go to the kitchen and then you can go up the stairs in your first room on the right. I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay. Tommy's going to know where to go. And
So here's the part that really ticked me off. So Tommy's looking at a photo of his mom and his sister, right? And I'm like, oh, they aren't dead. I would have loved, this movie would have moved to the top of the franchise list for me if there was a photo of Gordon the dog. That would have been amazing. Like, they put the photo of the sister and the mom, which we know the sister didn't die. And we know the mom, all she did was scream in that end scene. So we don't know if she's dead. But no Gordon, man. He jumped through a window.
Well, I mean, not for nothing. Gordon left him to die. So, listen, he's a dog, right? I mean, you have a dog for the purpose of, companionship, but also, to guard the house.
Yeah.
What does Gordon do the first time sign of trouble? He jumps out the window. So, I mean, he's like the black, what is it?
He's Scooby-Doo. He runs away for the most part.
Yeah, he runs away. So ridiculous.
Oh my God. And then we meet Reggie the Reckless, who you remember from so many 80s shows. And he was on Different Strokes for a while.
He was. And okay, so Reggie, this is a kid. I mean, he's how old is he? Like 12?
Yeah, probably 12.
Okay, right? 12. Who allows him to hang around the most violent, like crazy people? And he's just hanging around there. Like, that's okay. Like the supervision at this place is like non-existent. There's no supervision whatsoever.
Well, the grandpa, I don't even know what the grandpa does here. So
he's the chef.
Oh, he's the chef. So he's the chef there. So all these crazy people or halfway house people are able to do their laundry outside, have knives, swing axes, but they need him to cook.
Well, someone's got to cook, but swinging axes. That guy looks like the most violent guy possible.
Oh, he should be in prison.
And he's chopping the same log. Like it's not, he's not even splitting logs. He's got one log and he's just hitting it. Looks like out of anger. He just keeps hitting the same log over and again.
Yeah.
But everybody's okay with that. Like no supervision whatsoever.
Maybe that's what he did every morning for an hour. He chops the same log to get his stress out. He looked crazy, man. He looked
totally crazy. Yeah. And this is where Reggie's hanging out.
Oh yeah.
This is where 12-year-olds were hanging out.
It seems like Reggie, because they didn't mention anything about like Reggie's parents. So maybe he was living with his grandpa.
Because I thought he was visiting his grandpa. Because I thought they said my grandson's visiting, or I thought something.
Oh, maybe it was that. Okay.
Yeah, so he's visiting. But there's also his brother lives in a trailer like down the street.
He lives in a trailer park, but in the van. Not even like a big van, a van.
Yeah. I mean, who reminds me of Ozone from Breakin'.
Ah, yes. He's such a great Miguel Nunez, man. That guy's been in so much over the years. Right around this time, he was in Return of the Living Dead. Like he had like this string of these movies, and then he did like Joanna Man. Like in the 90s, he was in a bunch of stuff too.
Well, he has that like character. Like he's funny. I mean, obviously his role is very funny.
Oh, his scene's funny.
But yeah, I mean, he reminded me so much of Ozone.
Yeah. So then we get at the same time, Reggie scares Tommy with like a plastic spider. And then I love the callback to 4, which is kind of a callback to Tom Savini with the mask, because Tom Savini loved masks as a kid. So they added that for Tommy in 4 when he had the mask. He still had the mask that he had when he was a kid. That was pretty cool.
But okay, so like I'm just curious, how do you make masks like that? I mean, I'm assuming you need like professional, like good molds and all that kind of stuff. Like, is it possible for like someone at home to make a mask look that good? You think so?
Yeah, Joe Castro was doing that, and so was the late great Tim Lawrence. They were all doing these as kids,
making them at home.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's insane. I know. You used to be able to buy those kits, and you were able to make them. So I guess you have to have some kind of thing for the head to be able to have that plastic, that rubber to dry. But dude, his looks so cool. That first one he has on,
yeah,
so good.
But I feel like there's a lot of scares in a place where the patients are jumpy to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like to me, I feel like if you're trying to scare a crazy person who's already jumpy, there's gonna be violence coming.
Oh, 100%. What about one of those people? What if they had a fear of aliens or
spiders,
of werewolves, or spiders? What if Tommy was in there because he was having like these recurring dreams of spiders attacking him, and then, hey, Grandpa, Reggie is dead.
And okay, so you have this new patient who no one knows that I mean, obviously they know by his name. Everybody knew his name. Like he was like, crazy thing. You're going to let your grandson hang around his room?
Yeah.
What?
And what about Mrs. Jarvis? Like her son, she obviously has to still be involved, or the sister. And it's like, oh, where should we put him? Let's put him smack dab right where all this thing happened.
Well, you don't hear about them, so maybe he killed them.
No, I hope not. That'd be even worse that he's looking at a photo of his victims in an endearing way.
Why? If that, listen, he might have killed him. Listen, he has extreme anger problems, which he shows multiple times in this movie. You're going to tell me that it's one time his mom said, "Can you wash the dishes?" And he got annoyed and he might have just snapped.
Do you think OJ's looking at photos of Nicole Brown, like a wallet photo, and he's in line at the supermarket, be like, "Oh, Nicole, if I can catch those people that did this to you,"
I wouldn't put it past him.
Oh man! So then we get, oh my god! And then we get, so the cops show up. They drop off the actress who. So there was like 3 actresses up for the role of, what's the girl with the big boobs? What's her name? I should have that written down somewhere. Oh, Tina. So the role of Tina, there was 3 girls. The first one that I was cast. So the actor, the guy, he was already cast like before that. So we had to like do a screen test with 3 girls. The first was from Jason Lives. We almost had her on the podcast, man. What the heck was her name? But anyway, so the first one was her, Darcy DeMoss. She was actually cast. Another person, a little known actress at the time, Gina Gershon.
Really?
Almost had the role. And I think Cocktail came out the next year, the year after. So she took off like right after that. And the other one was after Darcy already had the role, but as soon as Danny Steinman saw an actress, Debbie Voorhees, she got the role.
Wait, her last name is Voorhees?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And she was a former Playboy playmate at the time.
I'm sure that didn't hurt. So,
yeah.
I mean, so, all right. But Gina Gershon, wow.
Yeah, right? That's
she was awesome. Yeah,
So they get brought back because they were screwing around the woods because there's nowhere else to screw. Okay, they can do everything else, but they can't screw in the house.
They also look like they're screwing in the backseat of the police car.
They don't care.
It's like it's nonstop with them. And there's a scene later on that they actually act like monkeys when they're like chasing each other in the woods. Like I'm looking, I'm like, they're acting like monkeys. Like they're just very bizarre behavior.
They're just so horny. It's almost like somebody shot them with like, I don't know, like some like love potion number 9, like some kind of horny thing.
But maybe that's why they're there.
Sexy perfume. Maybe a bottle of sexy perfume spilt on both of them and their lives are ruined, and they can't forever.
Right. Okay. So there's a connection to Mannequin 2.
Can you imagine if it was the same actress somehow?
That'd be amazing.
Oh my God. So one of the actors, did you see any familiar faces in the scene that you've seen a lot? So Richard Linebeck, he was one of the cops. He was a tall, skinny guy. He was Lance Harbor's dad in Varsity Blues. Okay. He was a big character. He's the one like, throw the football.
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers, Speed. He's one of the guys on the SWAT team.
Oh, wow.
He was in a ton of stuff, dude. But yeah, this is like one of his early movies. He's in this. And then we meet your favorite person, Ethel, for the first time. And I have that clip of Ethel. There's a super cut that you got to watch online. It's all of Ethel and her son. And it's worth it. But here's the first time we meet her.
And I'm willing to bet that it's everybody's favorite person, not just mine. She's amazing.
Talking, you keep quiet.
Morning, Ethel. Hi, don't you look lovely today?
Poor shit. Now, Sheriff, you better hear me and hear me good. I want this loony bin closed down. You hear me, fella? Now, these kids ain't nothing but trouble. They don't respect others' property, and they're all crazy.
You tell them,
He's the best.
Randy Quaid.
Oh my God.
It reminds me of Randy Quaid.
Totally.
Two perverts were doing in my yard.
say it like you mean it, Ma.
Would you shut the fuck up?
She's the best.
Oh my God.
Now,
Jesus Christ. So the wig that she's wearing, she was in a Burt Reynolds movie where she played a working girl, and they loved her from that. So they said, "Hey,
she's good looking."
Well, no, I don't know if she was good looking in that movie. But
they hired her to be a working girl. I'm assuming she would be good looking.
I think her role in the movie was not being a good looking prostitute. It was this movie called Sharky's Machine. Sharky's Machine.
Sharky's Machine.
So they said, "Hey, we want you to do this movie." I'm sure maybe Fern said it or Danny Steinman, and they said, "But you have to have that wig," and she kept that wig.
That's awesome.
So she wore that wig for this movie. But man,
and you know what? It fits perfectly. Like, and I wonder if she ad-libbed a lot of her lines because she's just so like she flows through and like like I said, I can watch a movie about their life. What do they do on a daily basis? You know, I mean, like the size of the pot that she's making a stew in later could feed like 75 people. Like it's a huge pot for just her and her son.
Yeah,
like it's just ridiculous.
Just the son eating this like cold soup
slop. Yeah, and she literally threatens murder in front of the cops.
Oh yeah, she says, "I have a bomb and I'll use it."
Well, before that, she said, "I'm going to shoot them dead" or something, or shoot my shotgun. And then she goes, "I have a bomb and I'll kill everybody." Like, and the cops just look at her and let her go. Like that's okay. Like it's almost like they're afraid of her too.
Oh, I think they are. They're that one person in town that nobody wants to mess around with because they I don't know. It's just better to leave them alone. But
this could have been like a merge of Leatherface's family. Like that's what they should have done, right? Like because they literally could be part of his family. The son could be, without a doubt. Like how cool that would be. Like you see like a little chainsaw in her house. Does she have a chainsaw? No, there is a chainsaw in this movie though.
There is, yes.
But if to have one there, that would have been cool. Like it's a little throwback.
So this movie, Melanie knew, I guess, because she was the final girl. She knew from the beginning this is a Friday the 13th movie, but everyone else, the movie was titled Vengeance, A New Beginning. So they didn't know until the first or second day on set. Junior, the actor, saw somebody walk past in the Jason Voorhees mask, and he said all of us got so excited that we were going to be in a Jason Voorhees movie, like in a Friday the 13th.
So do you think they were planning on basing the ending and this movie as like the new beginning as starting the new franchise? Was that the plan? Like start it over?
I think they were still in the mindset of ending it
because even
they
the
never
end,
knew. Yeah.
Well, even the end doesn't coincide with part 6. I mean, because the way they ended it, you're thinking like, all right, the next movie is going to be about this, but the movie wasn't. That never happened.
Yeah, it's funny. Like if you think about the entire franchise, the end of 4, like Corey Feldman, ad-libbed. I watched a little bit of the end on Final Chapter today too. When Chuck Zito, the director, is talking about the end of 4, he said Feldman do that on his own, like that look into the camera that's creepy and obviously that gives the audience something. But 5 is the only one in the franchise that's really you leave the theater holy shit, is he gonna
right?
Which we'll talk about it later.
Right.
None of the other movies do that.
But that never pans out because in 6, he's the good guy again. So it doesn't make they basically ignore. That's what I meant. Because I forgot we just said how it ended on 5. That's why they completely ignore 5 at 6. I think.
I know.
I think they kind of take parts of 5 of Tommy probably was at a loony bin. And now he, is out, and that's a different Tommy. I think they ignore most of 5.
Yeah, which is just because the audience reaction, even though the movie did really well. That's the reason this movie did well, even after opening weekend. Opening weekend was 8, and then it ended up making another 17. But no, honestly, if it wasn't for this movie, we would never have gotten Zombie Jason. Really, we would not have gotten Zombie Jason because it probably would have never got to that point. If this movie really flopped, financially, they probably would have buried the franchise.
I guess. I mean, I just feel 4 was just such a powerful movie.
Oh yeah.
And this movie, I can't believe it did well because, all right, I don't want to get too, because I can't
don't get all worked up. We don't.
I am very worked up because it's not a Friday the 13th movie. It's not. It's just, again, I was getting angry watching this movie every time I saw the guy's arm. I really was. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. All right.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Right, so now we get Joey, which is he's the pivotal part of the movie, really. So Joey's going out. He wants to help Vi and the other girl.
Artie Lang, you mean? You're talking about Artie Lang?
Artie Lang. Or it actually is the same guy from Ghoulies Go to College. The
every 80s movie had the fat guy with curly hair.
Fat guy?
It really was. It was Jim Belushi started it kind of.
Yeah.
And every movie, Animal House, they all had the fat guy that just whatever. All right.
And it's hot out, and he's eating a chocolate bar outside in the sun. His face is covered, and he goes, "I'm really good at doing laundry." And then instead of thinking about hey, I'm eating this chocolate bar, he grabs all these clean clothes and he covers them in chocolate.
He was a little slow.
Oh, so, he was the only one out of that. He was the only person there that you think should have been in something. He should have,
but in retrospect, when you watch the rest of the movie, he was probably the most normal one. After you watch everything else, and it was crazy. When he went over to the girls for the first in the beginning, they were so nice to him. They're like, "Oh, how are you doing, so and so?" Like they were nice to him, and they quickly turned on him and hated him, and in seconds.
They would have to do double chores. But you know what? Then he goes, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to Vic. And then he starts talking about Vic. He goes, hey, Vic, I have another chocolate bar. Do you want some of my chocolate bar or his candy bar, whatever you're saying? And Vic's not even talking to him. He goes, I'll leave it right here on the wood. He angrily slams into that. And then what sets this guy over the edge isn't like an insult like, hey, you're dressed like a, I don't know, like a leather something, or no, he goes, you're really out of line. And then he murders him.
Which took me by surprise. Like I did not expect that right there. You know, but again, this guy clearly has anger issues, and they were okay with it. Like I don't understand. Like, how was he ever allowed to hold an axe? Like, ridiculous.
He should have been banned from the axe, or there just shouldn't be an axe around.
Or he shouldn't have been there in the first place. If you have a place that's mixed with violent people and people like Artie Lang, they shouldn't be in the same place together.
Exactly. And how many bedrooms are in that place? Because there's a lot of people, and I don't think that place is that big.
No, it wasn't that big. And the guy that runs the place, what does he do there? Because you don't see him.
No, he doesn't have sessions with people.
You see him at the dinner table, and you see him in his office, and that's it. Then you're done. Like, you don't see him the rest of the movie.
That is true. You really never see this guy. Or does he live there? Does he sleep there?
Well, I would think so. I mean, because if he doesn't sleep there, who's watching everybody? The grandfather?
Probably.
I mean, you have literally, you only have 3 adults there. Right. So you have
employees. Yeah. There's only 3 employees.
3 employees that are adults. And then you have Reggie. Right. So who's you have the cook. So he's basically focused on meals the whole time. And then you have the guy and the girl. And that's it. They're in charge of 6 crazy people.
6. It's crazy. No, really, because the place is not that big.
It's not.
And Tommy. And then you have 2 girls. Tommy, the guy Vic, you have the stutterer, who is kind of like
John Cryer.
John Cryer.
I totally 100%.
And then isn't there another? Oh, and then the 2 people that are humping each other. It's 7 people. So you're telling me if Grandpa sleeps there, let's say Grandpa doesn't sleep there with Reggie, which it seems like he has to. That's 9 bedrooms this place is.
Don't forget though, Reggie's sleeping on a couch, I think. Like
well, no, that's at the end, which that one girl should let him sleep on the couch. Yeah.
He was sleeping on a couch though. Right. So he was, no, he wasn't. Was it on a couch? It was like on a futon or something. He was like by the back door. He was by the coat rack. He was sleeping. But what are the 2 adults? What's their job? Like, what's the blonde's name?
Pam Rivers.
All right. So what's Pam's job there?
I would guess she has to be some kind of social worker, or she is a psychiatrist. I don't know. But
so do social workers live where they're working?
An ex of mine did work at somewhere up in like Morristown at Greystone Mental Hospital. She did work there for a little while, and she wouldn't live there. She'd be there for like 10, 12 hours, and she'd be like in the house with these people. Yeah.
So if she's a social worker, she does some unethical things too.
Oh, like what?
The fact that she brings Reggie hanging out with his brother who's smoking pot. Like they're hanging out talking, like that's okay too. And it's like midnight, and she's bringing Reggie out.
That is a little odd.
With a crazy guy, Tommy. Like it was like a field trip, or it was like that. Just ridiculous. Like made no sense for why they were doing, and why are they visiting late at night?
I don't know. Yeah, it was very late at night. So then we get another line that Joey threw in there before he gets chopped up. He goes, Vic, I'm an orphan. So I don't have a mom and dad. So it's kind of like odd, but we know why in the end. So then we get the medics. The 2 medics show up. One medic is very distraught, and the other one's popping his bubble gum and going, fucking pussies.
The one medic reminds me of Lou Ferrigno. The creepy one.
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't he look like Lou Ferrigno?
Well, he was the one who was kind of sick. Yeah. He was very sick at this point.
he just, the one medic though, like that we see a few times, he just looks strange. Like he has like first of all, he's not a good actor at all. Like he's just, I don't know. It was just like when you're watching this movie and you look into this guy, he's so bad. It's just, really like if it's like it was like playing the game Clue and knowing who did it from the beginning.
You knew it was Colonel Mustard in the library
for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying because again, I don't remember. I know I didn't see this movie not knowing what it was because the movie is such like controversial. But I'd love to be able to have that opportunity because I don't know. That's got to be kind of cool while you're watching it.
I don't remember it being that obvious. Like, and then so I do remember watching the movie, and I don't remember like. And again, I even watched it a year ago, and I don't think I was paying attention that much of how obvious it was. But watching it last night, it was just like even the music, like it just focused on him. Like they didn't even try to like throw it off on someone else. They literally like just said like, all right, we're gonna tell you right off the bat, and let's see if it picks it up.
Yeah, there was one point that they tried to do it a little different because at a few times in this movie when things happen, we didn't know where Tommy was. He wasn't like accounted for.
Correct.
So they did that for a little while, and then actually they did it for until the end. Really, I don't. Well, I
think there was one point when Pam just came back, like oh Reggie, what happened? Or like you kind of question a few things, but it just. I don't know. They made it just so bizarre how they focus on this because he's not even a big character. Like, you see him a couple of times for like literally maybe 20 seconds. That's it. But they focus so much on him in that 20 seconds that like, I think, I don't know. I would be curious if people never seen a movie, if they just thought it was strange. Like, why are they focusing on this guy?
Yeah, you know what they should have done to throw the audience off even more? There should have been like that kind of focus or that tone from the other, like you have one of the cops being like pissed off at the camp. Correct. Or you have the other medic zoom in on him because he's kind of like enjoying seeing this body like this. So no, they could have done like a little bit more to throw us off, like a Scream movie or any kind of slasher.
But plus, this is the 5th Jason movie. There's not a Jason kill where you don't see Jason. Like you see fully Jason. We only saw Jason for 2 seconds in the beginning of the movie with Tommy. Outside of that, outside of like a little dream sequence here and there.
The mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not
standing
seeing,
in the woods. Yeah.
You don't see Jason and these kills at all. Like, so that should have been a red flag right from the beginning.
Yeah. They were doing it more like they went back to like the first one when you didn't really see who was doing the kills. So, yeah.
All right.
And then we somehow like remember when it went from Tommy at 12 to 17 or 18 or whatever how old he was. Now we somehow do we go backwards at this point because now we have 2 greasers from the 1950s.
I said the same thing. I'm like, what is going on here? Because first of all, they weren't needed for this movie at all. Like there was no relevance for them to be in this movie. They weren't connected to anybody in the movie. They were just driving there, but dressed like they were from the movie Grease. Like it was so
T-birds.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
they really were. Like, yeah, I was laughing when I saw it. I'm like, what's the point of it?
Well, I think it's the whole Friday the 13th vignettes. They have that in so many of the movies that they're just like in Jason Lives, they have the people playing paintball and Jason takes like 4 of them out. So they have like those random ones again, really not to drive the story to up the kill count.
No, yes, and I understand it was just adding more kills and for the ambulance driver and all that stuff, the ambulance to get there. But the fact that they're greasers, they're in a, and even their scene, I got to take a crap. It's like midnight. You're gonna walk in the woods to take a dump.
I would dump right next to the car. No cars are coming down the road. Do the open the door thing.
100%. And he literally is like walking in the woods for a while. Like, how far are you going? Like, there's no one on the road. Like, so why you have to go deep in there? Like,
what's the courtesy? You go camping. It's like go 10 feet away, dig a hole. Yeah. This guy's like 100 yards away.
Wait. If you're going camping, I hope you're going more than 10 feet
10,
away.
20 feet maybe.
20 feet? That's still close enough that a wind comes around, you're going to smell it.
No, but I'm going to bury it right away.
You don't think you're going to smell it at all?
It's like flushing the toilet.
When you go camping, you bring a shovel with you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you do? Use your hands?
I don't go. No, we already discussed this. You use your hands. I use toilet paper. I didn't know people go camping with. I don't go camping, but you bring shovels when you go.
Yeah, you little utility foldable shovel, man. You gotta dig that hole.
How about you just go 50 feet away where you're not near the camp and just dump there and just leave it.
Oh my god! And then you step in it.
Why would you step in it?
Then I'm gonna remember the same spot. What am I?
You can't remember walking straight 50 feet away from a tent. Animals do it.
Usually you're spot. Yeah, but they're good at that. I'm not.
If you're good enough to bring a shovel with you and bury it after you go, I think you're good enough to 50 feet straight ahead. I think you can remember. You know what? I crapped near this tree. I know not to go there tomorrow.
Oh, maybe the trees all look alike. It'd be hard to actually pinpoint it. Maybe I'll bring little orange flags with me. Flag where my poops are, so I don't step in those mines.
I just think if you're going camping and you're trying to rough it, do as the animals do. Just do it in the woods and walk away.
Just walk away. Oh my god. So then we talked about the deaths, and in this scene the road flare one's pretty cool because for that time to make a prosthetic, there's a lot of prosthetic heads in this movie that are actually for their time way ahead. The prosthetic head for shoving the road flare into his mouth, man, that was cool.
So why? But okay. We know why there's murders at the nut house, but why are these kids getting killed?
In the way. Oh no, we know why. He wanted to make. Do we just say what it is now?
We have. Listen, if anyone's listening to this, they've seen the movie. I mean, they have. Okay, so
yeah, it's Roy, the ambulance driver, the guy with the dark. The black brown hair. Lou Ferrigno. His son was Candy Bar Boy. He got murdered, so it set him off. So he wanted to kill everyone at the halfway house because Vic was a nut job that wasn't put behind bars. Kind of crazy, but yeah. So he wanted to make it look like Jason Voorhees, so he had a cover up. So I think that's why he had those other kills. Because Jason didn't have a specific pattern. He would kill anyone.
Well, he would kill anyone at Crystal Lake.
Around Crystal Lake. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, is this nut house on Crystal Lake?
It's close by.
Do we see any signs for Crystal Lake here?
Well, the sixth one is when the whole town, in order to get away from it, they've renamed the town.
Yeah. Okay, so but we're talking about the fifth one. They don't mention anything about.
Well,
Crystal
the mayor
Lake.
Talks about Jason he's very close by.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's known, but so the fact that Jason's killing away from Crystal Lake doesn't make sense. So that should have been a red flag for the mayor. And that's why I don't think he believed it was Jason because he's not killing a Crystal Lake.
Well, the mayor believed it was the shit. Oh. Wait,
no, the mayor did not believe because the
oh yeah, you're right. The opposite. Yeah, the sheriff is the one that said it. He said he's dead. He was cremated. Yeah.
So I mean, but you know what? Not for nothing. I think the father is the villain because I mean he's obviously the villain, but he left his son there with all these violent people because why? He doesn't want to take care of his son.
What's that story? The fact that he go there 20 years prior, have a one night stand, had a kid, and then kept tabs on this kid and got a job as an ambulance driver close by to keep an eye on him.
He's clearly lives nearby. So why is his son there?
Exactly. Why didn't he take him out and be like, son, I can help you?
And not for nothing. They're really outside of being just a little slower, he seemed harmless. Yeah. He seemed completely harmless. He seemed like he could do it. So the fact that he's there with all these people, shame on the father.
Yeah. He's the real
bad adults.
Bad adults. And the fact that he had to kill, why wouldn't he just be like, and you know who doesn't get killed? Vic. Vic's in some mental hospital, just living it up. Now, if he went there and killed him at the hospital, that would have been something because that's who it really should have went to, right? That should have been his first anger would be killing Vic.
And if he wants to show that it's Jason Voorhees, why not just kill everybody at the camp? Why are you killing people at a diner, out on the highway, like that. Like now you're just killing because you enjoy killing. I don't think it's a matter of killing because you're trying to frame Jason, because you could have. There's like 6 people you could have killed right at the camp or the nut house.
Yeah, maybe he likes it. Maybe
I think
after
he does.
He got a taste of it, and he goes, "Yeah, this machete's kind of fun."
Well, this guy shows no emotion throughout the whole movie, so it's hard to tell.
Is this his first killing? You think that's the first kill he ever did?
No, I think he's like Dexter. He probably like, he's picking up I bet you like when he's picking up people that are like almost dead that they're trying to save, he probably knocks like the wire out, or shuts the breathing tube off or something, like, when no one's looking. I think he started that way. Like he started small.
He started small with people and then just picked larger people. So then, so the road flare, the one Hickey from Kaniki is dead first, and then we get P comes back. He never shit. He even like mentioned that, and so he gets in the car, not questioning where the hell his friend is. He's just like, "Hey, where the hell is he?" And he doesn't realize that his buddy, we see it as the audience, he's laying in the engine, and he's going to turn it over, and then what happens? He gets his throat slit. Machete from the back seat.
Where did he get the machete from?
He knew that was a calling card. Maybe he just went to like a local, Home Depot, Lowe's.
Okay.
Picked it up. I think maybe he planned this. Maybe he was like, had this idea. Because you think he thought of this like within seconds after his son got murdered by Vic? Do you think he was like, you know what? I gotta sit down, get to the drawing board, figure out how I can frame this. He had it ready like, holy shit, I'll be Jason.
I can't imagine. I mean, listen, I have children, and, of course, if something happens to your child, anger is going to come right away. But I can't imagine a killing spree. And the most, like, the worst kill. Like, it's not even like he's just killing people, like, shooting them. He's, like, literally, like, doing, like, the most heinous crime, like, killing possible. A flare in the eyeball, squeezing the eyeballs out or whatever. It's like he's just like he's a nut. So this is definitely not his first time.
No, not his first time.
And I think it was. I think he idolized Jason, and I think that's just like his way of doing like a copycat killing.
Like people loved Manson and wanted to be Manson.
Yeah,
people want to be Jason.
Yeah,
and then to make the audience, obviously we mentioned it's Roy already. But as the viewer, if you're the first time watching this, which I'm sure a lot of people that are listening right now are not, but then you see Tommy, you cut to him the next morning sweating, and he sees the reflection of Jason with the red lines on the normal mask in the mirror. So you're like, oh, wow, maybe it's Tommy having these visions. So they do that a little bit.
They do, but I feel like he overacts the crazy. Like he just like pulling his hair, and he's like, I don't know. I was not a fan of this actor playing Tommy. Yeah, I'm gonna say
it's okay. Hey, you could say, say it. You said it.
I did.
I heard you.
Okay.
So then we get. We talked about the stuttering guy who looks like John Cryer. He looks like he's from the 50s too, because he has a little like. Curly...
Well, but that's 80s too. Don't forget, that's the Ducky.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
So that's so that I would say that's more 80s, but the other one was totally Grease.
And then how about how pissed he is? He's like, you don't set a place for a dead person, and they're like pissed at Vi who does the laundry, and she's setting the table instead of saying like, oh Vi, we don't need this one. They're like angry at her because she's probably been setting the same amount of places for how long, and they're gonna be pissed because she messes up one day.
Or maybe the fact that she has music on all the time that she's not paying attention to anybody else.
Maybe she doesn't even know he's dead.
See? Okay, so yeah, that's very possible. I just like that Tommy, just to go back a little bit, when he flips out, he needs his pills. He knocks them all over, and if that's what he does he do that every single time he needs his pills? Because like I'm sure he gets the same dream over and over again. Does he panic every time for those pills? And like, should he have access to all those pills like that? Because there are a lot of pills.
At the mental hospital, no, but at this halfway house, have all of them.
Anything you want, right? I mean, like you would think, like if he's at a place to get better, wouldn't they be giving the pills out? that you need. Like not having access to as many pills as you want.
Like every mental hospital movie, you line up at the window and they give you what you need, your allotted amount for the day.
You get that one big pill that you have to swallow with a small cup of the dentist cup.
Yeah.
And that's how it works at a nut house. Not you don't have your own bag of pills anytime you want.
A Pez dispenser of what you need. No, you don't get to regulate yourself. The doctor should be doing that. But we learned this doctor's not that good, because when he says to everyone, this is before Tommy comes down for breakfast, he goes, I know it's been hard, so let's just have breakfast. That's his line to people after they saw someone they probably cared about.
Someone that they knew for a while. Oh, I think I know one of them he knew like for say 10 months, for let's just say like a year or two, just got murdered, like horrifically in front of them. Let's have breakfast and act normal.
Yeah.
And no one after like it's again, they're just still like, I would think that would set some people off.
Oh,
that are clearly there because they're a little disturbed. And now you see a murder and you're going to be okay. And now not only that, you're bringing another murderer down to the table that no one knows.
Exactly. he this guy, and you know what I just thought about? Why are they staying here? There's no like fences. Really, I know they're getting food and obviously they have somewhere to sleep, but these people must be all orphans.
No, I think, I think there's places like that where it's like, it's like their home, they feel comfortable, their friends are here, they have food, they have a place to sleep, but you know what, they have the freedom to go wherever they want, but they want to have a place to go to when they have to come home. Like I bet you there are places like that.
There are halfway houses, but just this doctor's doing nothing.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, but there are halfway houses like that, but I don't think there are for people that have murdered people. I don't think that's safe. I mean, if you're trying to help them get better, but you're giving them the free range of any weapon they could find and to go anywhere they want, that's not really helping them.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then when Tommy comes down, he's like in this trance and the doctor's like, hey, can you go get Eddie? Can you get Eddie for breakfast? And he's like just staring for a while.
Well, okay. He's probably like, who the hell is Eddie?
Oh, that's true.
Tommy's just got there and he went straight through his room. He hasn't met anybody yet. And the doctor's saying, can you go get Eddie? He's like, who is Eddie and where is he?
That is true. Who the hell, can you give me a photo, or can Pam give me those great directions again of going to the bathroom?
Not for nothing. The doctor's lazy. He asked Pam to show Tommy here. He's asking, to go to his place. He's asking Tommy to get Eddie. What does this guy do? Besides bark orders, what does he do?
Nothing. He looks at files that he should have looked at weeks ago, because I'm sure they didn't call and say, hey, we're bringing that Jarvis kid. Okay, bye.
What if he's one of the patients too?
Oh my God, like in Dream Team, when
Christopher Lloyd
pretends that he is. Well, I think at one point he was a doctor that went crazy, right?
Well, I don't know, but he just thinks he's a doctor the whole time.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like, because this guy really does nothing. And so maybe Pam is the one that runs everything, and she lets him be like the
pretend to be doctor.
That's part of his treatment. Because you don't see him the rest of the movie. Like, you don't see him do anything, and he kind of disappears like everybody else does. So I bet you Pam just runs it herself.
Come to think about it, he never leaves. He's not allowed to leave. So he's like almost like a vampire. He's stuck in that house. Like,
he's one of the patients, and
wow.
Pam is the one. So now we're down to only two adults, the grandpa and Pam.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Like, that'd be really funny. Like, you think about it, because he really doesn't ever help. His pep talk sucks.
Horrible.
And then even later, he's like, Pam, can you take Reggie? And she's probably like, oh, great decision, doctor.
And he's such a lame character that you don't even see his death. You just see him. You see him dead.
Yeah.
So Pam runs the show.
So then Eddie, when he finally shows up, he's wearing one of Tommy's masks, and Tommy does not take kindly to that. He knows karate. Tommy? He's a kung fu master.
I mean, like, and it's not even like just a kick. He literally does like John Wick on this guy.
Yeah.
I don't think Tommy knows that.
Maybe that was one of the extracurricular classes in the
to get rid of his anger, to learn karate. I mean, but he does it so good. Like literally, like I think if like 6 guys were attacking him at once, he'd be able to defend himself.
Yeah,
that's the kind of karate he did.
If there were 6 Jasons, he could take them all out
easily. Just, I mean, it was professional fighting that he was doing. It was ridiculous, and they kind of let it happen. And then nothing, like no repercussions for him. It was like, all right, come on, Tommy, stop. The guy's he's getting beaten to a pulp, and Tommy doesn't even get, like, they don't get in trouble there. Like they could literally do whatever they want. Yeah,
why wouldn't they give him like a demerit black star, or go check his room for the knife that he has under the,
or like say send him back and say, you know what, he's not a good fit for this place.
He's not ready.
I mean, this guy just murdered someone else, just murdered someone, and now we got someone that just beat up someone. What's the next step? He's going to kill someone. Let's send him back. Like,
yeah, if you adopt a dog and they're like, yeah, this dog might not be good with kids, and he bites your kids, you bring him back. With this, easily, the mental hospital should be like, yeah, we knew you were going to bring him back. We were waiting for you.
No, instead, let's take him on late night field trips.
Yeah, let's reward him for assaulting another person in the house.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God. So then we get Mama and her boy. He's eating the slop, and the fact that she calls him a big dildo, and then right afterwards his response is best slop ever, Mama. Instead of like acknowledging that she's, I guess that's just normal. Maybe big dildo means
my son.
Yeah, my son,
my big son. Because he's a big boy, so maybe that's what it means.
He's like, a big dildo.
They were like, and like their scenes really had nothing to do with like that scene had nothing to do with the movie at all. Just to show you, like, so except for meeting the new stranger that just happens to walk up to their house in a like a guinea tea.
Didn't he look like Fred Ward? He kind of looked like he'd be like Fred Ward's
a little bit,
brother.
And he just said, "I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. I'm looking to fill my stomach."
Where'd he come from? Because their house is in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know. And he chose that house of all houses. Maybe he's like, man, maybe that's like the rule of thumb when you want a free meal. Go to the shittiest house. They'll be making a big like army pot of stew.
Which it was. And I guess, or was it a way of like, all right, the audience, here's another stranger who's a little creepy.
Oh, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, no, to make him creepy. But the fact that he's like,
I know,
I'll do anything to fill up my stomach. She's like, how about you go clean up all the chicken shit, put it in the bucket, and then I'll fill your damn stomach. And I'm like, whoa, is that what it was? Wouldn't she just like, what if he did all that work and then it was like, all right, bye, lock the doors.
Doesn't she say something like, wow, he was one ugly guy or something?
Yeah,
like that?
and then Junior goes, yeah, he was one ugly guy. And she says, you ain't so pretty yourself, you know? And he goes, I ain't so pretty, I know.
Wouldn't it be funny if like that was like her husband? And that's so you find like he goes, yeah, your dad's a jerk. Something like that.
Oh my God. Or Junior pulled a Kaiser Soze, and then at the end of the movie, he was like, he started speaking.
He starts very intellectual. That would have been cool. See, a little tweaks here and there. Now you get something a little different. I mean, if you're gonna go out of the box with this movie, really go out of the box.
Really, just go spoof it. The whole thing.
Oh well, it was spoofed. But I just love these people. I literally they reminded me of, I don't know if you ever saw the old Disney movie Pete's Dragon, like the original one.
Oh yeah.
The Gogans, like those.
Oh yeah.
That's what they reminded me. Like you look like just the dirtiest people. That's what.
No, I love them. Again, in this movie, like you rank it on the bottom of the franchise. I don't think it's that low.
Which one do you think is? Wait, which one do you think is lower than this?
Oh, Jason Goes to Hell, and I would say Jason X. I enjoy watching all of them.
But you think this movie is better than those two?
Yeah, I like the characters in this movie more.
Wow. Okay.
Hey.
Okay. Everybody has their own opinion.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So then we get from there. Then the next time we see Roy, the ambulance driver, really quick. Last time we saw him, what was he doing? Vomiting over a dead body. This time, he's smiling. He's zipping up these two greasers, and he's like, la, 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 la. Like, he's like smiling. And I'm like, all right, that's a little weird,
No, yeah, I can't.
Well, then let's go to a fun scene. Let's cut to the diner scene.
Okay. So how old is the guy in the car? who's doing like donuts, blasting his radio, who looks like he's like a 40-year-old. He looked like he's in his 40s first.
I would say he's in his 40s. She's probably in her early 30s, late 20s.
Yeah, I mean, definitely doesn't fit, but like he's acting like he's a teenager, but he looks like he's a 40s with the 70s porn mustache.
Oh, dude, he's that ilk of the 80s, because 80s was like when cocaine was everywhere. I love his line when he goes, partly cloudy in the valley and snowing in your nose.
He was just a weird character.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And again, the waitress, like I thought there'd be more to it. Like they had nothing to do except for kill count. Like it was just so ridiculous.
But this scene did bring up something I really wanted to talk to you about.
Is this a scene in the bathroom when she says,
she says it's showtime from she improvised that line that was from like All That Jazz, like a 1979 movie. And she asked Danny Steinman if she can do that. And he's probably like, yeah, let's practice that 7 times right now. Since he was an old porn director, that makes sense. But how about the fact that when Billy's doing the coke out and Lana's like getting ready and we hear a smash, okay? And then from there, you're thinking like, oh, she's going to die in the diner, right? You hear a big smash. So you're telling me a cat jumped through a window?
Why not? The dog jumped through the window in 4. So
well,
maybe
you know what? A diner window. I guess it seemed like it was one of those big diners windows. You know what I'm saying?
But how many movies, especially like horror movies, like in the 80s, was there a cat jump scare? Like in every like somehow like that's the thing. Like a cat will always jump out of is hiding and playing peekaboo and just jumps out at the right time. I don't think it ever happens ever. I have cats. They never do that. I mean, they may smack you when you walk by, but they're not waiting for you around the corner, waiting for you to walk by to jump out. And always, when they're jumping, pots and pans always fall on the floor. Like they're always near pots and pans. And then it's not even just a cat, and the cat squeals every time. You have some kind of screech, pots falling, and and every 80s movie, it's always like right before something happens.
Right before. Those cats, man.
And imagine like you're going to a diner to eat where cats just roam freely inside the diner. How gross is that?
Oh my god! Just the fact that when it ended up being just a cat walking around, I'm like, that was a big loud. Like whoever did the special effects, like the sound editing, they added like the sound of like a plate glass window, not like a little window. So it made it sound like it was like serious, but no, just a cat.
Just a cat.
Just strutting around. And I love Billy's death scene because when they talked about like the filming of it, when they first made the prosthetic head for the first time, they did the scene. And then afterwards, they forgot that he had a bald spot. So they had to redo it. And then when they did the scene, another great prosthetic head in this movie, they aimed for the bald spot. But that looks so cool, man.
Wait, so the original one didn't have a bald spot? That's amazing.
They forgot to add that in.
That is awesome. And you know what? Honestly, I don't even think the audience would have paid attention to that. Like, I know, as a director, you're trying to make everything perfect, but I bet you if they left that in there, I don't think anyone really, I think they would just like say that's a cool kill. Like, I don't think they would think twice of it.
Well, I think Danny Simon probably didn't notice it. I'm sure it was someone else. Danny was probably just like,
right.
Hey, where's the next boob scene? Not the continuing or making
one's coming soon. So there's another one coming soon.
Yeah. And then the showtime's like right after this. But then we get her death scene. So when she gets out to the car, she, again, just like the greasers, you get to your car after you saw your boyfriend in the car. You get out there and you think, oh, he's just gone. He just went for a quick walk, I guess. No. You gotta be worried that he's like, because if he's pissing, even though it's like on like a road, I hope he's doing it just in the shadows. He doesn't have to go that far away.
Or there's no one there. Just piss by the car.
Or go inside.
Oh, go inside. Right. You have. So, I mean, yeah, she wasn't. I mean, yeah, it just, yeah.
Well, and wouldn't she be upset? Again, this is cocaine. From what I read in books and things, cocaine's very expensive. So the fact that she goes in the car and it's on the floor, wouldn't that be a super red flag that Billy, my cokehead boyfriend, whatever. He dropped like $100 worth of coke on the ground. She just thinks,
you don't think he might have spilled it by accident?
The whole thing? No.
It doesn't fly around like chalk on a chalkboard?
Maybe if you sneeze. But her death scene, she sees his dead body. She gets up. She gets an axe to the gut. And she really loved this role. I didn't look at her IMDb. I don't know if she did much after this, like big role wise. But again, actors can be in things for a long time. Maybe not just have another like memorable kind of role. But she said she loved filming the scene because it was on like a main road where they filmed this movie and out in the outskirts of LA. And she loved walking around and like when cars are going past, like just like with the axe in her gut.
I would think that, like, you know, as an actor, like if even if you like you never get your chance, I think being like murdered, like you know, and with all the stuff and everything else in a movie has got to be so much fun. Like it's just got to be, you know, cool.
Yeah. And then again, what do we do to keep the audience guessing? We cut to Tommy staring out the window. He blinks, sees Jason, and first he sees Tina and Eddie running off into the woods playing like grab ass rope.
No, that's when they start acting like monkeys.
That's a monkey.
They really were. Like he was like they were like dragging on the ground with their arms and like they were just chasing each other. Like that was so weird. It's like do people really do that? Like they chase each other like in the woods and act like animals first before?
Well, the sexy perfume, you know, you know,
okay.
It does. It's chemical imbalances to the brain.
Yeah. So then Tommy turns around and he sees Jason.
Sees Jason for a second. He blinks. Jason's gone. So you're like, what's going on here? What could be happening here? I just had a really good idea for an ending. We'll talk about it when we get to the end. But I thought it'd be, I just thought about this. It'd be really cool. Even if they went back and somehow edited it into, I made a mental note. We'll get to that later.
I still think Junior being the killer and walking away normal is the best ending.
Yeah. No, that would have been good.
That would have been.
You would have had the sheriff to drop like the mug like Chaz.
He had an iconic death. So, you know, with the motorcycle. So I think that, you know, that's like one of the most famous deaths, I think. Was there another motorcycle death in another movie with their head? No, this is the one, right? This is the with Jason.
You have head decapitations. I think this is one of them. And then obviously Jason Takes Manhattan.
Well, that was a different. Yeah, that was a punch. That was a punch to the head. Yeah.
But no, this one's pretty good too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So then we cut to the mayor. That's when he's saying, find me a suspect. We talked about that earlier. The sheriff says Jason Voorhees. The mayor's like, no, he can't be. He was cremated. And they said, oh, were you there for it? And then what do? We cut right back. Tina and Eddie are getting high in the woods. And they're getting ready to bang. And then who do we see peeping?
He's peeping. It looks like the most open area of trees. Like literally, like how do they not see him?
Not a good peeper.
Not a good peeper at all. But making it look like, you know, he's hanging around.
But not for long. Somebody doesn't like peepers.
Oh, he does. I was going to say, like, do we see what happens to him? But yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, he gets killed like in the next second. He turns and he's like, hey.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, which again, now this is, I understand Jason has like, we know Jason has teleportation, but this guy who's a killer, he's kind of new at it. He's that quiet in the woods that no one hears him. No one, like, you know.
I wonder at this point, is he always killing in the mask, or is he just the guy?
One we don't know.
I would think he must be wearing it because why wear it at the end? Like, why would we be like, oh, hey, grand finale?
No, I think if he's putting Jason on a pedestal, he wants to be Jason. I don't think it's a revenge thing. I think he, like I said, maybe the first one might have been like just to get his anger out, but I think he liked it so much, and I think once you put that mask on, he probably felt like Jason.
Yeah. He felt it, and he's like, I want to do this forever.
Yeah.
And so Eddie, the guy who played Eddie, he actually dated Darcy DeMoss for like years after this. They hit it off during the audition part when he thought she was going to have the role. And when Debbie Voorhees met him, she said like they met for a few minutes, and then they're like, all right, see you Monday to film our sex scene. And this is filmed in a way that the editor was like, it was like a closed set. There was like 10 or 15 people. And it was like the editor said that Danny, the director, was like, yeah, bang her harder. Because it wasn't like obviously real, but it was like a Skinemax kind of thing.
Oh, and she's laying there with nothing on in the middle of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And like strategically has her leg up, like laying down like a Playboy model, like literally, like it was just, again, so unnecessary the way they had it. Like my daughter's like, are you kidding me? Like it was just like, again, just another. You could tell this guy is director what he did in his future.
But not even that. So what they did was when they were filming that, the editor said to Frank Mancuso, who worked on the first one and then really championed the franchise, he said, which I don't know what to do, but he's like, make it look like, I think he said like, make it look like a Disney movie. So they cut the sex scene. So really, if you're watching that, it looks like, and the actor who played Eddie said, it made me look like I'm like a one pump chump because it was so quick. And then what does he do after you have sex? You're going to say, I'm going to go wash up in the creek.
Which he throws on his jeans while she's laying there naked. And he's skipping. Isn't he like skipping rocks or something?
He's skipping rocks. Yeah. Maybe he's thinking about it. Maybe that would make more sense if he really did like have if he came too early
and he got a little upset.
Funny.
Right. And he's upset and he's just like, so and I know now this is when, the other girl gets it. He doesn't hear her scream.
Well, she already got it.
Okay. Well, sort of, but sort of, but he doesn't hear her scream at all. How far away did he go?
I know. Was the creek that far?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Yeah. But her death is really cool. Like it looks really cool. Like I understand that what you don't like about this movie, but the POV kills are really, I love them in a way. Like if it wasn't obviously a Friday the 13th movie and not turning this into a You-Done-It, but it looks so cool.
Yeah. I didn't expect her killed to be what it was, knowing the weapon of choice. Like,
let's talk about that because he just killed Fred Ward with a machete to the stomach.
Yeah.
And then he's carrying around like the whole. Does he have like
maybe he has a whole wheelbarrow? He has a garden hoe. He has. Maybe he was gardening and he just came over and just started using the weapons he has. So yeah, I mean, but when he came over there and you saw the weapon in his hand, didn't you think like her head's gonna be chopped off?
Yeah.
Like, so he killed her by slicing her eyes.
Ugh.
No, but can you die that way?
No, I think he went deeper than that and like got her into the brain. That's what I would think it was.
Because it just looked like he just like gouged her eyes.
Well, probably went down pretty deep, but that was pretty vicious.
It was vicious, but I don't know if she's gonna die like that. I mean, I don't know. I thought he should have like chopped her head off with that.
Chopped her head off.
You literally have a weapon that's gonna cut someone's head off. You have.
I don't know if gardening shears are that sharp that they're gonna cut a head off. I can understand breaking like a nose.
Do you ever use them on a really tough tree?
He's good at sharp. The ambulance driver is really good at sharpening his tools. He takes care of them. They're pristine.
They could cut. I think they could cut a head off.
And then the guy comes back after skipping rocks. He sees her laying on her side. So like the ambulance driver tilted her the right way. So she was like, he posed her body after the death.
He does a lot of posing of bodies.
He does. Oh my God.
He has enough time to do a lot of posing of bodies.
He does. He really does.
Yeah. And, throughout the movie, he does the Jason walk almost slower than regular, than regular Jason. And yet people still can't get away. And he doesn't have teleportation.
He does not have that. No. Only the real Jason.
Only the real Jason. So how does he catch up to these people?
I don't know. But no, that was what. So when he checks her body, he's like, hey, you want to go round two? And then he flips her over. He sees that she's dead. And he falls back like so far. I've never seen a dead body. But maybe if somebody has, they fly backwards. But man, when he hits that tree, and this is the scene that I kind of mentioned earlier, this death was so gruesome because they were pumping the blood through the leather straps. So they used this as the bargaining chip in order to get more boobs in the movie.
Why do you think, but isn't it strange that this couple that was having sex in the woods basically died the same way?
Oh.
They died by Eyes?
Eye death.
Eye death. Right? I mean, they both had their brains squeezed. Or, yeah.
Brain squeeze. Yeah.
Brain squeeze. All right.
Oh my God. But yeah, so he's dead. The leather snaps. And then we cut to the scene that you say, what about bad adults, man? The fact that Pam is bringing Reggie to go see his brother, which earlier in the movie, Reggie like begs the grandpa, oh, he's not far away. Can I go see him? His brother, Demon.
But why wait at night then to do it? Like what? And Pam's like, it tells Tommy it'll be fun. This is 12 o'clock at night. Tommy doesn't know this guy for one bit. Why would it be fun for him?
Yeah.
And Tommy just beat up someone earlier in the day.
He's getting rewarded.
He's getting rewarded. He is.
He's getting, like in prison, if you stab somebody, they're not like, hey, do you want to go work in the metal shop or you want to watch a movie? No, they take away things. They don't give them more.
But it's so dark. It's late. You're going to tell me his brother wasn't going to be. His brother looks like he doesn't do anything. Like, I mean, yeah. So why not go like the next morning? Why are you taking him at 12 o'clock at night to like a really creepy area? It looks pretty creepy over there. I mean, not for nothing.
Well,
look at the outhouse. How creepy was that thing?
Oh, I know. It was really just like metal, like
it looks like it's like and it looks like gangs would be like hanging around there because like it looks like it's just so run down, and that's where you're gonna bring this 12-year-old late at night. And
no one else is at this trailer park?
No.
And I love the sign. I think the sign said trailer park.
Yeah, it might have. Yeah. And no one else is there. Yeah.
And that's it. But how about this? The fact that I know it was a little creepy, but I love that the music when they were going there was very scary, like Harry Manfredi, what he chose. You're like, is Jason like around the corner or the killer like going to pop out from the road? Because that, or they're just really raising the awareness that trailer parks are kind of scary.
Maybe it did look like, first of all, it looked like it took them a while to get there. And I almost feel like they used the same clip of the van driving on the highway. Because it looked like every time they went back, it was like the same movement of the van, same drive. So,
and how about the brother when he's like, "Reckless, is that you?" And then I love that they're smoking pot with just a girl, smoke show. I like her. She doesn't not in it for too long, but I love that you can tell he's a stoner because he's like, "Hey, you want an enchilada?" And he's like, "No, man." And he's like, "You want pizza? You want?" I think he offers like something like Chinese food too. He's like, he has all this old food.
I was gonna say, how long's been sitting there? Oh, I like how, was it Reggie that goes, "Where'd you get that?" He's talking to the girl.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and she's just sitting there like, because you don't see her yet. Until he mentions that. Yeah, and you just see her like, "Hey, little brother."
Well, I think because he said something to Reggie. "Where'd you get that?" Right? What was he talking about with Reggie?
Oh, I forgot what Reggie had with him.
He had something that he said that. So then that's when Reggie goes, "Well, where'd you get that?"
Yeah. And then I love Reggie.
Oh,
this scene's great because I love Pam's reaction. Like, I don't know if this scene was ad libs, but the way Melanie reacted to the scene, she like went along with it. She's like, "You know what? I'll pretend to be."
She did go. Yeah, she did go along with it.
Yeah.
And
Come on, Pam, babe, Pam.
And meanwhile, Ozone is completely flirting like with her right in front of his girlfriend.
Yeah, he don't care.
No, he doesn't care.
I think he offered her pizza. I think he's the one. He offered her pizza, not the brother. He was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then Tommy's mesmerized by the trailer park sign that says trailer park, and he's like staring at it. And who comes hanging out? Junior pulls up, and he starts talking shit that Tommy's not doing really anything, right? He's just staring at a sign. There's no laws against that.
Well, it's Junior. I mean, but he also doesn't realize Tommy was from the nut house, right?
For a second. And then he goes, "Oh, you crazy from the loony bin. I'm going to kick your ass."
What gave that away? How did
they staring at a sign?
Okay.
Oh, the van. No,
okay.
He noticed the van.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what he did. He noticed the van. And then what happened? Tommy kicks his ass. Kung Fu comes out again, and he beats the crap out of him.
And again, that's okay. Like, she wasn't even mad at him. Like, and then she lets Tommy run off. Yeah. Does she go after him?
No, they try to get her, but she yells really quick, Tommy, stop. So she saves Junior from getting murdered.
Does.
And then what happens? They were there for, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Why would you even take him out late at night for a 5-minute visit? And now you run the risk of Tommy, because doesn't he run off at this point?
He runs off. So at this point, they know his history.
Right.
What if he murders people? That's on them.
So So why would you bring someone late at night? Now there's a second fight in 2 days. No, it's the second fight in the same day. Right? Because it was earlier.
Same day, yeah.
Same day. And now you lost the patient. She's not a good owner.
She's not. Yeah. Well, the other guy's just pretending to be. He's pretending to be a doctor.
Well, you know, it's funny. I'm at this point. I told myself, I'm like, where is the owner? And then we see him a little later on. But like, I was like, all this time because we haven't seen him since the breakfast table.
Well, we saw him when he said, "Oh, Pam, why don't you take Tommy with you?" And then when she gets back, they say, "Oh, Matt went out looking for something." I don't know what Matt went out to look for.
Right.
But before we get there, we have to just break down this scene that ends up being a cool death.
Better when I'm out of here.
Okay.
This shit box is gross.
So Demon has enchiladas.
That's gonna crawl up that crapper and bite your ass.
So, would you want, like, you're hanging out with like a girl you're hanging out with? You're gonna take a dump right in front of her like that?
Well, she likes it. She must be into that kind of stuff. She's singing, "Ooh,
I know,
baby,"
and she's leaning on the porta potty. And I love the fact that the toilet paper's on a stick. Look at that.
Baby,
like,
ooh, baby.
They're having a great time while he's taking a massive dump.
They know how to enjoy the moment. And I love that Demon's doing it for a while, and he realizes, I guess this might be a song that they usually sing together, because once she does an "Ooh, baby" once, he gets worried.
In seconds. I just found that bizarre. He's taking a dump, and she's hanging around singing like.
I love the callback because she pranked him before this part.
Correct.
And then it starts.
Okay, first of all, he doesn't wipe at all. He's pulling his pants up. So, no toilet paper. And.
Finds it dead. Throat slit. This is one of the coolest kills in the franchise, too. This is up there.
Okay. Now, would you keep making noise every time you move around?
Well, I would hope right now, me not in that situation, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I don't know what I would do.
But he's obviously trying to hide away from where he's going. Stop making noise. He can hear you.
God, I would love to pause and decipher all those things that are written on the walls.
Oh man,
because they're probably something. But no, his death is pretty cool. In the franchise, I like that one.
Oh, that's a bad one.
And then we get to your favorite one. Junior gets home, and what does he do? He's
going so ape right now. Like he's just going nuts.
He hurt me, mama. He hurt me.
And this is where I'm sitting. I'm like, all right, so he's wasting a lot of gas going in circles. Where do they get the money? Because clearly no one works there. So where are they getting money for this motorcycle that I'm sure, that he uses everywhere?
Maybe mama sells her stew at the farmer's market.
You know what? The fact that the stew is that big, maybe. And yeah, he's going so crazy right now. And she's still making that big stew and she's getting mad at him. I feel like there's no normal conversation between the both of them.
No, they just scream.
They're just yelling at each other the whole time.
That's the only level that they have. So funny thing about the scene. So Danny Steinman went to the actor who played Junior and he goes, listen here. He goes, it's the only time he was ever super serious. Man said, he goes, listen here. If you dump this bike during the scene, it's going to cost us $50,000. And you know what? You won't have to worry about Jason fucking killing you because I'm going to kill you.
Oh, man. What?
So even at this point, I think no one knew who was doing the killings. Because I bet you, obviously, when they filmed those scenes of him getting his head chopped off, I'm sure they just had some stand-in, whoever was doing the special effects doing those scenes. So I bet you they didn't really even know.
No, I take it. It's easy to say it now, but if you're watching it for the first time, I think everybody thinks it's Jason. You know, there's no doubt everybody doesn't think it's Jason. I just think it's like once you find out, you know, and then and most people don't watch it again right away. But if you watch it, it's like watching like The Sixth Sense, you know, and then you watch it right away. You're like, oh, look at all these signs that I saw that it was him. You know, if you did that with this movie, you could say that, but most people did not. And they probably just saw it one time and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Those good, like the movie, The Game. I love the movie, The Game, but then
there's so many signs.
Knowing the ending, it kills you.
Yeah,
it's still enjoyable to watch, but no, I get it.
But I think Sixth Sense is the biggest culprit for that. I think, you know, it's such an awesome movie and such an amazing ending, but now it's like everybody, you know, puts that movie on a pedestal, but I can't watch it again. It's like, you know, it's like, it's all right, it's done. Like, yeah.
I guess that's what makes it so good. They're like experiences, like a one-time experience when you get
but you know what though? Usual Suspects, I could keep watching over and over again.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that same effect.
It doesn't, but it's just still so good.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
All right.
So then what how about the fact that he's driving around and doing like the burnouts and everything? And what's the mom doing? The mom is going, she even says when she's making the dinner, she's like screaming and screeching. She's spinning in the pot, and then his head gets chopped off. And then she doesn't realize that it's chopped off. She probably just hears the motorcycle engine. She goes, you fuckwad. And then because she hears something in the house. Maybe it's
no. It was when the motor was done, she was like, finally, or something like that. Like, so she just thought he just stopped.
Oh, okay. Because she did hear something in the house because she looked behind her, and then what happens? She gets killed through the window.
Yeah.
And hers is a prosthetic too, that they had to cut the scene because it was too gory. But she loved this movie. If you're watching behind the scenes, just her talking about it, she's very calm, and you're like, how did this lady play Ethel?
And that's what makes it so good. Like she plays that role so well that I could see it as a character in like another movie. Like, I mean, like it was just so like, to me, she was the only enjoyable part, like her and her son to me. Yeah.
Ethel gains her own no Netflix series, Ethel and JR, coming this fall.
Okay. I can watch that. I would watch it.
I'd watch that over Big Bang Theory, man. I'm telling you.
I don't think I've ever seen one episode of Big Bang Theory.
I watched a few of them, and I'm like...
And it's like the number one comedy. I don't understand. And you know what? I just started watching Married with Children. It still holds up. It is amazing.
The best.
Amazing.
I would love to talk to Ted McGinley. I would love to talk to any of them. Yeah. But even talking to Jennifer Lyons and getting those tidbits. But so then from there, Pam's truck breaks down. How convenient. We get back to the house, and Robin and Jake are watching a black and white movie together. And Jake's trying to confess.
Why are they sitting so close to each other?
Weird, right?
Very weird.
Obviously, we know why he is close.
Correct.
The fact that she wouldn't be like, hey, man, hands off.
Correct. This is a little awkward, this scene. You know, he came across very creepy, but she's sitting super close to him. And I was wondering, like, are they dating or like, you know, but no, it was an awkward scene. I felt bad for him.
No, I felt so bad too. And then she starts like laughing at him.
Yeah.
And then again, we forgot that Pam got back and she finds out the doctor left, and she goes, I'm going to go out and look for Tommy. Here, I'm going to leave this boy with you, you crazy halfway house.
So she leaves all the crazies and a 12-year-old boy. and where's the grandfather all this time?
Oh, I don't know.
So why is Reggie sleeping on like a bench that you use to take your shoes off? and because he looks like he's literally like he's on a bench. The grandfather's not around anywhere, yet he's there visiting his grandfather.
Yeah.
Bad parenting. So I mean, this whole sequence gets all creepy.
No, it does. And then the fact that he says, I want to make love with you. Robin starts laughing. So he leaves. Then he goes upstairs. And then you thought, was he going to say the same thing to Vi?
Well, I thought that, but first of all, she also, after he left, she looked like she had a little remorse. So I thought she was going to get up and go towards him. No, she doesn't.
Well, he ends up being in the bed when she gets there.
That is true. But yeah, right. But I thought she was the Drew Barrymore girl. I thought he was gonna go. And first of all, is she doing Tai Chi or breakdancing?
I think breakdance. She actually brought that song. She brought that song to be in the movie.
Really?
So I don't know if that's an artist that was big, but they probably got paid for it.
But is that like? That's not breakdancing. Yeah, that's not breakdancing. That's not even close to break. It's almost like you telling someone to do the robot who's never done the robot before and can't do the robot, but telling them to do it on camera. Because that's what she looked like. She looked like that. When you see people do a bad robot because they don't know how to do it, that's what she looked like.
Yeah,
like it was very awkward.
We talked about her because in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, Kristen's mom in those two movies is Tiffany Helm, the actress who plays Vice, real mom in real life. Oh, wow. And she had that weird relationship. So she said in like part 3 and 4, especially 4, she had that own relationship with her daughter. And that's kind of crazy that.
Do you think her daughter's really like that?
Oh, I don't know. But her death scene, which we'll get to in a second. Well, Jake gets killed. When he turns, he sees somebody. We don't see him die, right? We just see
I think it was off screen.
An off screen one, yeah. Which I love when they do those. But then we get Vi. Her death scene is pretty awesome.
How is he? First of all, I mean, I know she's listening to her headphones as usual, but like, where is he hiding? It's a room. He walks in there. She turns around and he's not there. Where'd he go?
Yeah,
it was a room.
Yeah.
So like he was somehow
he was peeping behind a closet or something, but
there was a closet there that he could hide behind. Like
I don't know. There was like some kind of weird thing, but no. Yeah, that made no sense. But the scene that, again, another one got cut because too bloody. There's only one photo of it, and it's in the Crystal Lake Memories. He machetes her from the bottom up.
Oh.
And she's smiling in this photo of her all bloody, like around her pants and everything.
There's no video of that? Like of the
no video. That? It was just a photo of it.
Oh, wow.
The editor even said, he goes, I don't know if that ever made it anywhere. And he goes, maybe there's some photo laying around. And then they showed the photo.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
And then the way Robin, the way you talked about, what did she do just before bed? I gotta let these puppies out. Takes her top off.
It was like literal, like just standing in front of the mirror, just taking her robe down, which again, she wasn't wearing any shirt or anything underneath it. It was just that, like, but she had and then just goes to bed and pulls the blanket literally right below her chest. So
I gotta let those puppies breathe, right?
I guess. I mean, like, but wouldn't they get like cold? Like, isn't it like, you know, like your feet get cold, your rest of your body? Like, wouldn't that like, doesn't that like your top, like your chest get cold like that? Like,
maybe get chest cold.
All right, I guess so.
I love that she rolls over, she finds dead Jake, and then she gets a machete through the bed, which the under part of that bed is kind of like Little Monsters, because the fact that the way you see his arm reach up, it must have been like an oil change station at a gas.
I was going to say, yeah, if that was like a regular bed, the angle to do that is like almost impossible.
It's impossible.
So how much room did he have to be able to do that? Like,
see, that's where I said, this isn't real. This is a movie.
Ridiculous.
This is the first time I did that. And then right from there, Reggie wakes up finally.
Is Reggie wearing a onesie?
It looks like it, right?
It looks like a red onesie, right? Like it's
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was popular at that time, right? Wasn't that the Adidas tracksuit? Like not onesie, but he was wearing like an Adidas tracksuit.
Was he? Because I literally thought he was wearing a onesie.
No, he was wearing a red top, red bottom.
Well, it looked like he was wearing a onesie.
It was like LL Cool J did that like a few years later. But no, he goes back. What does he do? He finds the bodies in Tommy's room because he's like, I'm going to look for Tommy.
This kid is 12 years old, and the amount of boobs that he saw filming this movie between Pam's later on and like ridiculous.
Pam's later on. Oh, I guess because it's wet.
Really? Like doesn't wear a bra when she's running around wearing a white shirt in the rain. I wonder if that was planned. And no bra. Like it was so ridiculous that and it was like so obvious, so ridiculous.
She said she didn't like the way she looked in this movie until she was rained on.
Oh, I can't agree more. But like it was like when that, I mean, we're not there, but when that happened, I'm like, look, first of all, the minute I saw her wearing a white shirt, I knew, you knew something was going to happen. Yeah. But like the fact that she's not even wearing a bra though, like why? Like, so Okay.
They can't afford it. The facility has a certain amount of fun. She works for free. She works pro bono.
Maybe she's a patient too.
Maybe they're all patients. It's like some government experiment. Let's see. Let's let them run the asylum.
Okay. Now I'm in.
But I love when she's like, Reggie, what's wrong? It's me. And then you're like, oh. And then you know what? It almost for a second, as the audience, maybe the first time you saw it, maybe it was her.
Correct.
Because she was unaccounted for a few times.
Correct. And then she just happened to go there after Reggie saw it.
Yeah, which kind of like Mrs. Voorhees in the first movie. When
Correct.
Mrs. Voorhees shows up,
Correct.
She's like, oh, what happened? Oh, no. But when she comes out and they're like, let's go, they start sprinting within seconds. And what do we see for the first time?
What do we see for the first time?
The mask with the blue check marks.
I didn't even... What part?
Right when he busts through the door.
Oh, yeah.
He busts through the door right here.
Right. You're right.
It's the first time we see him.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Interesting.
They're flying through the rainy weather.
And when Reggie falls, he acts like he broke his leg. And yeah, I mean, they're running. How far do they run?
I don't know. It kind of looks like they run in circles because they filmed that like right outside LA. And they probably just ran in
because it looked like the same scenery like the whole time, like when they're running around.
Yeah.
and where? Oh, I know they're not at the hospital yet, right?
No, that's the end of the movie.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say when Reggie screams, I was dying.
Shavar said that's how he really screams.
Oh, really? Because it was the little girliest scream ever. Okay. All right, we're not there.
And he looks the same. Like
now
I know a lot. Oh yeah, he looks the same face. And people age. Most of the time, people do age, but there's some people that just don't, and it looks so.
You know who doesn't age? Steve Martin
does not age.
He's looked the same since he's in the 70s. Like
he's
like
had
literally
gray hair since he was 32.
Yeah, but he literally like I'm watching his show and he looks exactly the same. Like he really has not aged. Okay,
so good. So then they run, they see an ambulance, like, oh wait, this guy can help us. They open up, boom, it's the guy that we saw popping the bubble gum that was calling people pussies. He was dead.
But where's the other one?
He's right on the other side of the car because he was right there. So he pulled like you said, the Scooby-Doo. He was at the end of where they were running.
Yeah, because
they probably ran in a straight line away from him, so he should be behind them. Somehow he's in front.
He does a lot of Jason type stuff. I mean, he also, we're not there, but like he gets pretty beat up with, certain weapons. You don't hear him cry once.
You don't hear him cry, but you do see him injured. That's why as the audience, you're like,
You do. But like, he gets slashed, he gets stabbed, not one sound comes out of him. I don't think so. I don't care how
he follows the creed, WWJD. What would Jason do? Jason wouldn't cry. Jason wouldn't talk.
Okay. I don't care who you are. You're getting smashed by a car and going flying. You're going to say something.
Yeah. Ow. Hey, that's not Jason.
Oh.
But no, so then when Pam runs into the woods, she's running through, she runs into the doctor. And he's dead. Oh, this is where her and Reggie kind of like break off because the doctor has a railroad spike into his head, which looked great.
But this is where weren't the other patients or other victims placed around here or no?
That was in Tommy's room earlier that Reggie found.
Okay.
No, this is where Pam's hiding in the office and Reggie's grandpa gets tossed through the window and he's missing his eyes.
And does Reggie know at this point?
That his grandpa's dead? Yeah. I don't think she ever tells him.
Okay.
Maybe after the hospital, he's probably like, man, I can't wait to go see my grandpa.
Because I was wondering, because this happened. I don't know if Reggie knows.
No clue.
Okay.
He's in for a rude awakening. And then what about when he finds out Demon's dead? Oh my God.
I still can't believe his name is Demon. Like they that's the name they came up with. Like, why?
It's badass.
Demon is a badass? Like that's your name? That's
He's like a biker. He's kind of like maybe the grandpa didn't like.
So you think bikers have a name like Demon? There's a biker out there.
Oh, there's Demon. There's Axel. There's Spike.
Well,
Hammer.
I don't know if there's Demon. Axel and Spike.
If I was a biker, I've thought of this before, which I would never ride a motorcycle because they scare the shit out of me. Even when they ride next to me or they ride in between the cars on the highway, I always thought my name would probably be Axel. You
don't look like an Axel. I would say George.
George? Did you imagine that you're going to like your first biker bar and you're like you get caught off guard, you know you have to be ready for your nickname, but you tell me your real name? They're like, hi, I'm Spike, I'm Hammer, I'm Nails. What's your name? George? Get out of here. Let's hang him up.
That's a Pee Wee Herman thing to do.
Yeah, totally. But no, so then Jason is following because Pam sees the doctor dead. She falls down. She's crawling in the mud. Jason's ready to kill her.
That crawl in the mud. Like, she couldn't get up once. Like, she literally... and how... She was crawling for a long time.
And he was waiting.
He was waiting.
Because he knew if he was on to follow Jason's MO, Jason waits.
Or maybe he saw that she was wearing a wet t-shirt and he got distracted.
He's like, let me get more of this. And then Reggie comes flying out of the barn with that friggin' whatever the heck it was, backhoe. And that was a real stunt. So Tom Morga, who worked on Halloween 2, 4, like a ton of movies doing stunts, he wanted to really get hit. So he really got hit by that.
Oh, really?
And flew back on. Yeah.
Because I mean, that, like, but you know what, though? I would think that would, if it doesn't kill you,
it only makes you stronger.
Or that, but you're not getting up from that. There's no way you're getting up from that. So this guy does Jason's stuff, like the way he slowly gets up and he walks around like nothing. The only time he starts limping a little bit is when he gets sliced. Then you can see him like kind of holding his stomach a little bit, but like there's no way he's getting up from that. No way.
When he gets up here, he kind of limps, and this is my favorite shot of the movie. And I think it is like, again, at this point, if you don't like the movie, whatever. But I would say here on is pretty cool. And I do love when you see him come and when they do that wide shot of the open barn and you see him walk in looking around. Because think of how many kills happen in Friday the 13th or how many of them end in a barn?
A lot.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool to see that shot of this, obviously in this different mask with the blue on it. And to me, it looks kind of cool. And I love when you see Pam Roberts come out of that friggin' little closet, revving that chainsaw, ready to go.
Do barns have closets like that?
Maybe they're tool sheds. Maybe that was Roy's.
Okay,
maybe that's where he kept all of his gardening tools he killed with.
So she's fighting him while, again, he's an amateur, and he's fighting off a chainsaw with a machete.
She's an amateur too. She's an amateur chainsaw.
Okay, that is true.
Two amateurs cancel each other out and nothing's gonna happen.
But what do you think if I'm holding a machete and someone puts a chainsaw on the machete, like as I'm holding it, wouldn't it like the vibration like knock it right out of your hands?
I would think it would rip the because the teeth are going on a chainsaw.
Yeah.
So I would think that it would rip the machete out
or just whatever. Like there's no way you're able to hold it. Like I don't think you're able to fight it off as if it's like another sword.
And I love Reggie. Yeah, all right, Pam. Yeah, Pam. Yeah. He's cheering her on. And I love that she gets him. She gets him. He starts bleeding. He's on the ground. She's going for the end and ran out of fuel. What a way to go. Could you imagine if that was the way you went? You got to kill a killer, which again, we talked about that earlier.
Yep. Which is okay to do.
Fine. In societies, look, you didn't do anything.
Right.
And then the chainsaw dies. Oh,
listen,
that'd be rough.
Well, you know, that's she should have checked before she took it out.
Yeah.
I mean, if she was in a shed of a barn, there might have been other weapons she could have used.
Yeah. She took
the gamble on the one weapon that could possibly run out of gas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you go to Commando, he didn't grab a chainsaw. He grabbed a saw. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, if she was a professional, she would know that.
And then Tommy shows up. And Tommy, if you notice, they did the same wide shot, the same entrance, same lightning in the background, the rain. So they made you give that feel. This is the first time you really knew that it wasn't Tommy, because just like Superman and Clark Kent, we finally saw them in the same place.
Okay, so where is this barn?
It's on the property of the. It's on the property.
It is on the property. So
yeah.
So they were running through the woods, happened to come back to the barn, and Tommy knew where they were.
Well, I don't know if knew. Maybe he just stumbled upon them. He heard it. Maybe he has better ears than other people in this movie.
Okay,
but why weren't Debbie and Tina screwing in the barn? Why did they have to go into Ethel's property to have sex? They had this huge barn. They could have went on top and laid up there.
That is
true. They
might
be still alive.
You know what? That is true. No one lasts when when there's a barn in a Friday the 13th. Everybody's dead. Doesn't make a difference. Everybody's dead.
But no, this scene.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. Then you have Tommy, and they're like Tommy, and he's so because he's dealt with that mask before. He has this like prior experience with it. He is like so traumatized that he stands there and he takes the machete to the chest.
It was very bizarre because he just basically stood there.
Yeah.
So he was able to use his anger and do all this crazy karate, but when he really needed it, he couldn't do anything.
Jason's he does that to him. It like just stalls him.
So the mask is like his kryptonite.
It is his kryptonite. Another Superman reference. Nice. Right. So then from there, when he's on the ground, then he's fine with it. He's all right. I got cut. First one's on the house. Second one's on me. And he pulls the knife out of his pocket and stabs him in the leg. So he is able to give them not really any more time because they're on the second level. There's nowhere for them to go but down.
Okay. So this guy, who's a regular person, got slammed by a car or a tractor or whatever, sliced by a chainsaw, and stabbed in the leg. Not one sound.
Yeah.
This guy's the toughest man alive.
Yeah. He is. Oh my God. And then he climbs up. So Tommy barely gets up top when he's running away. They're like, Tommy. And then when Jason gets up there, everyone's hiding. They're doing.
First of all, wouldn't you push the ladder down so he couldn't get up there?
Oh, I don't know if it was probably nailed in or something. I don't know if they would have been able to. It wasn't one of those ladders.
How do you know?
It looked like it was attached. It was the same color wood as the flooring.
I think it was. I think you could have pushed it. You can't break it off there. You can't try to kick it off.
The old comedy trope of the kicking the ladder when he's on top and he's like, ah!
Well, so no, their plan is to sacrifice Reggie.
Sort of, yeah.
He was a decoy.
He was,
and they took a chance that and the guy swinging a machete, and they took a chance. Like, to me, that was a little because first of all, Tommy's useless. He was laying on the ground. I thought he was dead.
Yeah. That was what you thought. He was like, oh, this
I thought he was faking it. I thought he was faking it.
Oh,
but he wasn't.
He was not. Well, I guess he sort of was because he wakes up not too long.
No, later. he pulls a Hulk Hogan. He's able to, he gained the power to be able to, do one last move. But they literally I'm watching this, and Reggie's really only behind one piece of wood. And the killer's slashing his machete so close to him. That's the risk. And it took Pam a while to come out.
Yeah.
I would think the minute he faced Reggie, you would think she would come running out. No, he literally, I think, swung about 4 times.
He did. Yeah. And she finally came out. And then I love that she's able to, they think that they're getting him onto the spikes. They think he's dead. And
what are those spikes? Hold on. What are those spikes?
Oh, I'm thinking, is that where they drop hay?
Why do you need spikes?
To hold it?
It looks dangerous as anything. Does it look like a bed of nails? I know. I'm not sure. So you're telling me it's used to drop hay. I don't think so.
Well, I'm just guessing.
I know, but it's going to be that close. You got to look it up. We got to look it up because it looks very dangerous. If there's any farmers,
if you know what the spike thing is that's on wheels, @sequels only on Twitter. Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I'll have to Google that. But no, so then they think he's fell over. They look. Oh, no, he's not on it. Nope. The old hang around bad guy. Secondly,
which is impossible. I don't care. You know, I'm not saying you can't hang from your hand, but if you get pushed out of a window or something, I don't think you can quickly grab the edge because the momentum of you falling would be too much. There's no way you're holding on to like one hand like the way he is and still holding on to someone pulling him down.
Oh, yeah. And then not only that he's holding himself, he is using a different force to pull them both out. And then Tommy comes out of nowhere, grabs the machete, chops the hand off, and then we see the body fly down. And then we see.
Why does that break the mask? I mean, not for nothing. Think about Jason for how many movies his mask has never been broken. This guy lands on his back. He doesn't even land on his face. He lands on his back, and the mask is shattered.
He doesn't buy good masks.
It was shattered.
Not a good one. Not a good one.
He got it's like, yeah, he got the off-brand.
And so here's the thing I wanted to ask before we talk about the end. When we see that he's wearing a ball cap, because they show the ball cap rip, which, unless he's a professional makeup artist, those things are hard to make look good. You're telling me so this is what I kind of backtrack on what I said before. Is he wearing the mask every time he kills people? Because you're telling me he's doing that each and every time that he's killing these people? I don't think so.
Well, I think once we stop seeing him as an ambulance driver, I think he's Jason the rest of the movie.
But we saw him as, okay.
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Tell me when he kills the greasers,
right?
And then it's kind of like grinning. He's not wearing the ball cap.
And I think now he's Jason. And I think maybe that was like a mask that he found in Tommy's room. Because it was more than a bald cap, right? I mean, it was.
What was the bald cap and the mask?
Yeah. So maybe he got both of that from. Because the bald cap, it was more than a bald cap because it had like the Jason like sparse hair, like it looked like Jason's head, you know. So I bet you, I wonder if like that's something he grabbed from Tommy's room.
Maybe Tommy was making his own. I'm really scared of this, but let me make a Jason mock-up. So then let's show the ending and we'll talk about it. And I think I might have the whole. And no, so I cut to. So this is when Tommy like sees Jason. All right.
So is this still the ambulance driver playing Jason?
No. Well, he never played it in the entire movie.
Okay. Who played Jason in this movie?
It was always Tom Morga was the one that was playing Jason the whole time. So it was always that. And then Jason fades away. And then you get Tommy has a different look on his face right here afterwards. And see, this is what's, for me, super questionable. Because when he gets up, he opens his drawer, his very large hospital.
Okay, so he was knocked out. Right? He was knocked out unconscious at the farm. They brought him there. Why is there a mask in his drawer?
Well, he was awake because he used the machete to chop off
why is
hand.
the mask in his drawer anyway?
Exactly.
So is this a dream?
Well, they did this scene as what was going to open up the sixth movie. That's what Melanie told me. That's what the
were they not going to explain why he has a mask in his drawer, though?
No, I don't know.
And a machete. Right? Is it?
And a machete in there, too.
Yeah, okay.
She opens it up. Oh, no, the window's open. Tommy's gone. He disappeared. See, that could have been interesting to make you think. But if you're in the audience, I'm telling you, you jumped. Or you said, holy shit.
Right, correct.
Tommy right behind her. Boom.
So, but again, that does not, coincide what happens in 6. So
I know they just wiped away the ending, which they do a lot in those movies. Like when we cover the Halloweens, they change the endings of these movies all the time because it's never a director back to back. It's a new director that says, "Oh, I didn't like that."
Right.
But it was the audience response to this movie. But here's the part I wanted to mention that I said I tabled perfectly, but I didn't. But what about how cool would it have been if I don't know if you would have known it was Roy yet. But what if it was what if you actually saw the Jason red checkmark mask show up, okay? And then he killed. So when Roy walks into the barn, you have Jason come behind, machete him through the stomach. And then you see that it's the ambulance driver, and then it's Jason for the final act of the movie. That would have been something.
You know what? Bringing Jason back somehow, whether to help them, in a way, and then kill them, get go because he's annoyed that this guy's pretending to be him. I think that would have been a great idea. I mean, the fact that we didn't see Jason the entire movie, I think it just missing that element of having Jason. Like, it didn't feel, even the kills did not feel like Jason because you never saw Jason. You only saw an arm or a hand.
Yeah.
So
we're at that point. It's the end of the movie. Jamie, Friday the 13th, a new beginning, not a new blood. What would you recommend this movie? So
I'm going to say yes. And only because, again, if this is number 5, right? So if you've never seen the franchise, I would say I would skip this one and just watch 1 through 4 and go right to 6.
Well, if you've never seen the franchise, if you're at this point in the review, you know what happened, and I'm sure you've seen this movie.
But if you're planning on watching them, I would say then, and you've never seen it before, I would say no, don't see it. Skip 5 because it really has nothing to do with if you want to get the story of Jason and just really get the whole feel of Jason's Friday the 13th from 1 through 10, whatever. Not even 10. I mean, you can skip that one too. But 1 through, then I would say skip it and just go right to 6 because then the lead off is so much better. I think 4 to 6 is such a better lead off. You have Tommy there, but then you have Tommy as an adult making sure that he's dead. I think it's so much better. I think this just kind of puts it kind of slows the franchise down. That's what I think. So if you're only going to see one, all right, see this one.
No, but I of course recommend this one. I think because there's great kills in this movie. There's lots of boobs, so it follows like that 80s mold. But Ethel and her son are funny. I love the demons kill scene was great. I don't know. There's like these little the vignette parts of the movie that are good.
I would say, okay, so let me change it a little bit. I would say if you really want to watch it, I would skip this one. Watch up until probably 7. Probably until 7. So I would watch 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 5, and then 6 and 7. Whoa. And then what?
No Manhattan?
I would go. Well, now I'll go back and I watch 5, Manhattan, and Jason X. Okay. I think because the 3 of them really have nothing to do with Jason. It's just such a different. The 3 of them are very different.
What, Jason Takes Manhattan? What do you mean?
He's on a cruise ship.
He needs vacation too. Killers need vacation.
That's why you watch it at the end. If you want Jason's, watch those and then go back and watch these 3. And I think that's the way it should be watched.
That's the way it should be watched. Well, that was fun doing it Friday the 13th, not around Friday the 13th, because really, if we wanted to cover, we want to cover all the sequels, all 11 of them, and now we've knocked out 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, and Freddy versus
Wait,
Jason.
which one's 9?
Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've covered 6 out of. So we have only 5.
Freddy
left.
versus Jason.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So we have 6 out of 11 that we covered.
And I already saw New Blood. So we got to get some.
Well, we already have a couple lined up for that one, so that'll be fun. And it was just fun to do it on an off year because there's only 1 this year. Next year, I think there might be 2, but we just do them whenever. Who cares? Friday the 13th, really.
It can happen anytime.
And we're recording this on the 13th, which is kind of fun. So that was Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. And next, we're going to cover a movie that I was really tricked on because I thought they were very gory movies, but really, they're really an action movie. And that's The Purge Anarchy, which has Frank Grillo. It actually has a pretty good cast. The girl in it's great because I loved her she was in The Judge. Okay. With Bryan Cranston. She was in that, so she was great in that. And for it, I talked to an actor that had a small part on screen, but his full scene, Jasper Cole, he plays this homeless guy, and he talks about how vicious his death scene is in the movie. But speaking of Jason Takes Manhattan, he plays a boxing trainer in that movie. His kill gets cut from the movie, but you could see it in the deleted scenes. Everybody hates Chris. The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, he was a recurring character, and just so much. He's done so much over the years, plays like a badass. He was in MacGruber. He gets killed in MacGruber, And he loved working on that movie. He's friends with Jorma, the director, like to this day. Like when they were rebooting it for Peacock, he was like, "Oh, is there any way I can come back to life, maybe as a zombie?" But yeah, Jasper is great. And the Purge Anarchy, I'm telling you, I loved it.
I only saw the first one, so and the first one I thought was pretty good. So I'm interested to see this one.
And Frank Grillo. So like,
awesome.
come on, you know.
Yeah.
So so get ready for that, and don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.